All right. So, Jamie, I've got you spotlighted. Welcome, everybody. This is a real pleasure to have such an accomplished percussionist joining us this morning. And I want to welcome Jamie Papish. Thanks for being here.
My pleasure. Great to be here.
Yeah, especially at 9. I don't know why, but 9 today felt pretty early. We might have to move the percussion hangs to 10 on a Saturday.
Saturday, yeah. One day runs into the next. I don't even know what day it is.
Yeah, with the pandemic but you know, it's actually, if there is a good year, if there is a good profession to be during a pandemic, I guess musician isn't too bad except for the gig part, but then the practicing part could be good. So how has it been for you, Jamie, over the last year and a half?
It's actually been a little bit life-changing for me. At the beginning of the pandemic, well, before the pandemic, I was doing this course that I created called Drumming for Healing, which was a combination of drumming, simple drumming, and chanting. And I got people to, do some different patterns while they chanted a basic chant. And I made up those chants. And then at the when everything shut down, I was feeling that I didn't really want to do it on Zoom. It just didn't feel right. So I was wondering what to do, and then a neighbor of mine who attended my last live class, we were on a hike, and he said, "No, you have to continue that work somehow." And I asked him if he wanted to chant and drum with me at that point. And I knew he was a musician, a band leader for a reggae band. And that started a band that I created. And we are currently recording our third piece. We're just releasing our second. We already have one song out with a video. And, we're really going for it. We have and then I started composing for the first time in my life. Had a guitar, played a little bit, and just started creating melodies, and stuff is emerging. And actually, in about a year's worth of kind of recording, because I think we started recording in August of 2020, we have two pieces. So it takes a while to actually get the kind of quality that you want and the kind of mix you want and the sound you want. So I don't want to release anything that I'm not thrilled with. So there we go.
That last 20% takes 80% of the energy, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. But I think we're in a groove right now. I think we're going to be putting out more stuff on a more regular basis.
Oh, good. Well, that's something we can all look forward to. And I'd like to ask you to get in, and everybody who's listening or everybody who's here, we'll open this up for questions pretty soon. But I would love to, if you're okay with it, Jamie, maybe, would you be okay just doing a little sample of either just something that you would drum to chant to, or both, like a little demo? Or I don't want to put you on the spot here, but even the drumming, definitely the drumming part, maybe a quick demo.
Sure.
Or if you want to throw in a little bit of chant, I know it's early, but up to you. Whatever you feel like doing.
I put out a disclaimer: I'm not a singer, all right, but this is kind of the stuff that I was doing. Well, I'll just actually sing a little bit of the first song that I composed, which is really a chant. So I'll show a little bit of the drum. So the groove is. Now, that's not what I would have people do. It would be more like hey, hey, ya, hey, ya.
Beautiful. Yeah. And I thank you for making that distinction between, what you would do as a professional and what you might have participants do. I think that, a lot of the people here I know do facilitate music making for groups, and it's important to always, manage that skill versus challenge level right in there.
Oh,
So people feel good, but they're not, stressing out too hard about it.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
Is there well, I should let other people ask this. I'm going to ask one more question, and then and then we'll open it up. I was curious though. I've written some stuff too, and I think we can all agree it just feels good to drum and sing.
Yes.
I'm sure we all know our friend Miranda Rondo, and she does a lot of that, right? That's her, like, kind of her main thing. As was Lane Redmonds, in Lane's later years, really super into getting everybody drumming and chanting together. So, and Glenn Velez with his hand dance method, I guess. Well, I guess that wasn't so much chanting, but maybe a little bit of speaking or something, or using the takadimis or something. But vocalizing and drumming, together, right? And maybe stepping as well. How do you, this is a typical question for any musician, but, where's the inspiration come from, or where does the impetus, is it something that is a vision and you want to get there, or is it an urge and it's pushing you? You know what I mean? Or is it both? I don't know.
Uh, I'll answer it this way. I hope I answer your question. That for me, drumming is a certain dimension, but when you add melody to it, I always enjoy drumming with other people more than just drumming by myself. Okay, or not just drumming with other people, but making music with other people. And when you can chant and drum and sing and drum, it's sort of like playing a guitar and singing. A little bit different, obviously, but it just adds a whole other dimension, and it just, gets deeper into my soul. And I was really missing that melodic aspect of my musicianship that I could do by myself. And it's
Mm.
also very, very healing. I mean, drumming alone is healing, but when you add that melodic aspect to it, and even if you're not a singer, and I'm not a singer, you could find places where it sounds, you know, uh, pleasing and healing to yourself. And basically, I brought that out because it was healing for me.
Great. That is a great answer. Yeah, thank you. All right. And so, yeah, I'd love to open it up for questions. Anybody who has a question for Jamie, you can maybe just raise your hand, wave, and then I'll ask you to unmute. In fact, I might ask everybody to unmute just so you're ready. But keep yourself muted if you're not speaking or whatever, so we don't have background noise. But anybody, if you don't have a question right now, that's fine. I will keep talking. I can talk for a long time. So go ahead, Rick.
Hey, Kalani, Jamie, it's
Hi.
a pleasure to be here. I'm new to percussion, all of a week now, actually, and so I hear you drumming with other people. I haven't found anybody that does that in my area. What do you suggest? How do you find people to do this with, and what kind of format do you suggest?
When you say do this with, are you talking about drumming and chanting,
Yeah,
basically?
yeah.
Well, I mean, there's always the meetup website that you could, gather people. Um, you may have to take initiative, right, and put it out there. And if there's like a drum circle, you may say, well, can we drum and chant to this? And you could even facilitate it, or play some audio of something that's been done, something that I've done, and use that as a model and start doing that. And I'd be happy to share with you some of the chants that I did when I was doing the classes, which I haven't done for a while, but I still have the material. And then the music that I am currently doing, is based in that. So, I could share some of that with you.
Great. All right. Go ahead. Cecily, is it Cecily? Oh, I've got to get you unmuted. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you unmute now? Go ahead.
Yes,
Welcome.
I think I'm unmuted. Hey, this is wonderful, Kalani. But I have a suggestion for the last person that questioned how to get together and everything. I used to facilitate years and years and years. I'm a product of Arthur Hall. You might know that of his facilitation. At any rate, this chap could start at his local church. There's always people there that want to get together and chant and drum, believe me. And usually the church will offer the facility because you could do it under the church banner, whatever you want. And finding a facility that can accommodate, say, 20 people or up to, I used to do 300 people, etc. You have to have a place that can do that. So I would suggest he contact a local church if he doesn't, go to a church regularly, and see what he can do from there. Okay.
Great. Yeah, good suggestion. And from there, or whatever it is, or you could start church, and then of course, when you said that, I immediately thought, yeah, any organization really that has a facility, and that could be a nice way to actually help some maybe staff or that community say, hey, how would you like to drum? But then of course you've got to teach them,
Right.
That's more like the community drum circle model. If you wanted to jam with other drummers, then you have to also, figure that out. But there's always a couple drummers in a crowd, right?
Always. One more thing too. When it comes to the chanting and drumming simply, which might be a good place for him to start, if he's near any place that has a Native American population or anything, because they have all these wonderful rhythms and they're always chanting, and then they bring dance into it and everything. And that might be a nice community to work with too. I've worked with them, and it's very inspiring. It's very rewarding. Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, that was just my add-on for now. Okay.
Great. Thank you so much. Also, Jamie, if you could maybe move your mic a little closer up from when you were doing the drumming, but for talking, yeah, I would move it up. Any questions for Jamie? Anybody? Let's maybe, how about yes, go ahead, Vic.
Jamie. Hi, Jamie. Vic. We met in Southern California.
Oh.
And I've since moved in the Central Coast. And the way I found drummers, by the way, was at the local music store, because that's where people post stuff like that. But Jamie, I know this is going to be basic, but how did you get started?
Oh, it's a great question. Well, actually through a drum circle in my late 30s. Never really played. I played a little guitar when I was younger. Loved music. Music was my life, basically, just, as a listener. And so I started thinking more about drums. I started enjoying going to drum circles here and there. Just for like a year, maybe I went to, a few. And then I said to myself, I want to get a drum. And I was at a festival in Seattle, and happened to come across a vendor, an Egyptian guy, and I bought my first doumbek, darbuka, whatever you would call it, and brought it home. Didn't know how to play it. Just jammed on to some Santana, which is not typically what you play a darbuka with, but. And then I took my first lesson, like maybe a month after that. I had seen a real player, because I hadn't even seen, a real player. I had seen a real player, and I just was enamored by it. And And then I took a lesson, and that started me. I got hooked. I was ready. I was really ready at that time in my life for change. You know,
There you go.
found something that I was able to really connect with for the first time in a long time. Yeah. So
The drum circle as the gateway drug.
what was that question?
Oh, I was going to say, you better mute me because I have a bunch of questions and it's not my interview, right?
Well, that's
Like,
okay.
what
How
other
about one more?
instruments? What other drums from Darbuka? I see you probably have djembe, frame drum. I've seen you play, and other things.
So the question is,
What other instruments do you play?
Okay, I play, and I'll demonstrate, you know, a little bit of some of them. So I play frame drums. So one frame drum that I play quite a bit, sorry, is called the DAF, and it's a frame drum, pretty thin shelled but large, and it has rings in the back. And so these rings get activated. You can play it as a regular frame drum.
Nice. That is exciting.
That is from, it's actually a Kurdish instrument, but they play it a lot in Persian classical music and Sufi music. And that's the way I started playing it with a guy named Yuval Ron. And let me, you know, just for fun, we have a little time, Kalani. Could I just play
Yeah.
it or something? All right.
That'd be great.
Okay, let me just play a track where I play that on. Okay. I'm going to move into the track a little bit. Move a little more forward into the track. So that's an example of that drum played in Sufi music. It starts slow and it really picks up to kind of a frantic pace. Where am I here? Here we go. So other instruments that I play, I like playing the Udu drum. Could you all hear me, Kalani?
I can hear it. Yeah. Let's see how well. I don't know if we can hear the drum.
Hold on, I'm not
But-
playing.
Yeah.
Let me put it down.
It sounds like a dole groove. It reminds me of dole.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice. Do you want to maybe real quick for the people who haven't seen the Udu, maybe just do a little show it real quick. Oh, and usually you spell Udu UDU, Rick.
Yes. UD.
Yeah.
So basically, it's a clay pot drum, and they come in different shapes and sizes. There's two holes in the, we'll call it the non-Indian, because the Indians have a clay pot called the gatam, and in the gatam there's one big hole at the top, but the ones I play have two, and so you can play this one and it comes out of the top, or you could play this one's a little drier and it comes out of the side, and you play you can play the sides of it. And you could, I have finger roll technique. And when you leave your hand on it, it has a pitch bending. So I love the pitch bending aspect of this.
So if you all want to look into that, that's Udu UDU. I've got a couple videos on the World Drum Club channel. I'm sure there's tons of Udu videos on YouTube. And then, like Jamie mentioned, the Indian instrument is the gatam or gatam, and there's people just with flying fingers you can see on YouTube videos or whatever playing gatam.
Yeah. But I love the Udu drum because you can get good sound without a lot of practice. You could just take whatever you've done on other drums and put it on that with a couple of little adjustments versus learning the tabla or learning the whole Indian style of drumming, which is years and years and years of study.
Right.
Let me just demonstrate another type of drumming that I do. Or another style. But maybe before I do that, could I play an example of me playing the Udu drum in a track?
Sure.
Okay.
It's always nice to hear examples of these instruments, in context or in different contexts.
Yeah. So this is a qawwali, which is like a Pakistani Sufi style, and the most famous qawwali is Nusrat Al Fateh Khan. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but I play with a qawwali with the Yuval Ron Ensemble, and this is one of the songs. Starts out slow again, more of like an invocation.
And that's the harmonium.
That's the harmonium, yeah. I'm going to
Sounds like an accordion.
keep on moving it forward here.
A little bluesy there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
से वफा तूने तो हम तेरे हैं कि
Okay, now we're going to get into a little bit more of the groove here.
से वफा ने तो हम
Are you sure that isn't Led Zeppelin?
I think some Pakistanis did stuff with Zeppelin. This is a guy in Northern California, Sukhawat Ali Khan.
Allah, 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 Allah,
So could you hear the Udu drum there? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. It's there's also a Arabic tambourine called a rik, which I'll demonstrate there with somebody else is playing that one. Because that was a live show. That was put to an album. Yeah.
Sounds great.
Yeah. So now I'll demonstrate a drum called another frame drum called a bendir. And 1 second here. So the bendir again is a frame drum, but you see these strings? They're on the inside. And they create a buzz. And typically I use this for anything that's Moroccan, and when I hear Moroccan, and even though it's not all 6/8, I think 6/8. So this is a typical Moroccan groove that I play.
And that's the just for people, just FYI for people, that's the Cooperman drum, right? And that's got the Renaissance head, it looks like, which is pretty cool because those are hard to get now, if not impossible.
Really? This is a wonderful drum, drum. Because one of the things with these plastic or Renaissance heads is that they don't change with the weather, and it's also tunable. So I have my other frame drum that I play mostly is also Cooperman. I have some synthetic heads, some natural heads, but sometimes it's hit or miss, and I always have a heating pad if I use those. I like the sound of those better, more authentic, but
yeah. But for a gig, for outside at night or something, you got to have the mylar heads, the plastic heads will save the sound, overall.
Exactly. Oh yeah, it's awful. It's if it's at night or it's humid, you basically playing a paper bag. Especially with frame drums. Different with other skin drums. With the frame drums, you're playing a paper bag. Let me give you an example of a Moroccan song that I also I'm using a lot of examples with Yuval Ron because I play a lot of different world music styles with him. So here's another song that we do called Dror Morocco, which is kind of a Jewish Moroccan song. You also hear the carcabass. I'll show you. You've all got into the electric guitar on that album, but yeah, he's got this guy wailing, in that song. So in Moroccan music, you have the bendir. There's another instrument called the carcabass, which I have an example of those. And then there's a lot of claps, and I do the Moroccan clap, which is kind of spread my hands out. So you get a kind of a cupping with your palms. And a lot of Moroccan music is counted as in threes. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. A little bit like flamenco, and the Persians do it with the snaps. There we go. So Persians also do a lot of things in 6/8. And let me show you the carcabass, which is also 6/8 pattern. I'll be right there.
When you were playing that music, I noticed that the harmonies are very similar to what we might have as folk music, like bluegrass here or country. Southern music. I was thinking Zydeco. It's a very similar kind of vibe, and it kind of makes sense if you follow the Moroccan, the Moors and the Moroccans up into the Iberian Peninsula, and then out through Spain and Portugal to the Americas. I'm sure, or I imagine, a lot of that influence came over, and that we have now. All right. So what do we have here?
This is the example. These are. I have to tighten these. These are a little bit loose. But these are right from Morocco. These are what they call carcabass, and they're Moroccan castanets. And this is the rhythm we were playing. It's together, right, left, right. Together, right, left, right. Together, right, left, right, or together, left, right, left. A few different things with it. These are a little bit hard to control sometimes. I have to tighten them a lot because they're flopping around, but these are really great. They cut through. And you could hear that. You could hear this on that track.
Nice. It's kind of like the hi-hat. I mean, it's loud, but it's sort of like, the hi-hat cymbals of the ensemble.
Yeah.
Or like in taiko drumming, they have that little gong, right? They play with the little bone.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of drumming that has the bells, like in the dundun, the djembe ensembles have the ken, the bells. So it's great to see that pairing of the metal, with the drums.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And They're used a lot in a style of music called Gnawa, Gnawa, in Morocco. And in a lot of cases, they'll have basically just that in drums, and it's very tribal. But it just gets so intense in what they do with these things. They basically do like full like it's just incredible. I mean, lightning speed and lightning accuracy with these things with multiple players. And the technique is incredible. You know, I just barely scratched the surface with that stuff. But you know, these people have grown up with it. They live with it. That's their style. And they use this thing called a gimbri, which is a bass type instrument, very crude, almost like with a broom handle and strings that are tied around the broom handle, and the body is a skin. I think traditionally it's camel skin with a hollow. Yeah,
Just for the bass, like to sing over.
and they have these techniques where they, you know, kind of just pull a couple of strings and get triplets out of it, and it's Gnawan music. You'll see it in Morocco. Gnawan music. It's really fascinating, and they use the bendir and stuff like that.
Our friend, Dror Sinai. You must know Dror, right? Probably.
I know him, yeah.
Yeah. Dror Sinai used to have a music store, amazing place up in Santa Cruz called Rhythm Fusion for years and years. But you guys look him up if you don't know Dror. He's got a tour. He does these tours called Mujical, which is a cross between magical and musical. Mujical Morocco, and he takes people to Morocco if you ever want to do that. He'll take you.
In fact, when I went to Morocco, Yuval Ron is also very good friends with Dror, and he joined us in the concert that we did there and the tour. So I got to spend about 2 weeks with Dror. He is just a wonderful guy and a great drummer, and so much fun.
And a character.
He's a character. He's great. Great.
But yeah, sweetheart, great player.
Yeah. Great with frame drums, and really got the Moroccan feel.
I'm going to type his name in here because I think that's how to spell his last name. Is that right? Or is it Dror, Sinai?
I think.
Or is it S?
I think that's it.
I think that's right. But yeah, you guys look it up. That's not how you spell Morocco, probably. I probably need 2 R's or 2 C's or something, but dyslexia, I don't care. You can figure it out from there. I think it's CCO, right?
I think it's 2 R's.
2 R's. All right.
What? I'm not even.
One of the spelling people can take it from there. I'm just I'll just get it going. You guys finish it.
We're just drummers here.
I make no claims about spelling. So we are, man. I can't believe we're getting. Oh, we have a little bit of time left. But what else should we cover? What else should people know about what you're doing, or how to connect with you, or anything else, or any other questions?
So let me just tell you, give you a couple of things where you could hear the stuff that I've done and connect with me. So I have a website, JamiePapishmusic.com. That's JamiePapish music.com. And the band that I formed is called The Chants, CHANTS. And you can see what we're doing on thechantsband.com, CHANTS band. And I have a playlist on Spotify, which is kind of like all the things that I've done, some of the choice recordings that I've been on. And it's somehow I need to share that with people. It's what is it called? I don't know. I'm not positive how you share. I know I can share things with certain people. I can share playlists. I don't know how people could find my playlists, but this is called Jamie's, JAMIE apostrophe S career FAV apostrophe S. Jamie's Career Faves. and that has about 55 songs on it, 5 hours. I'll give you a good example.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll give you a good example of some of the different things that I've done with Middle Eastern percussion. You know, from funk to blues to jazz ish stuff. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Sufi, Qawwali.
I always encourage everyone to listen to, music playing, music making really starts with music listening. Because if you're not sure what you're trying to play, it's going to be hard. So at least have an idea of what you're going for. I mean, nothing wrong with improv, of course. I love improvising when I'm speaking. But certainly if you're going to try to play a style or learn an instrument, you want to get those playlists, listen to players, listen to music, watch the videos, get the sound so you kind of know what you're going for.
Yeah. By the way, I'm also on Facebook, Jamie Papish Music on Facebook, or just Jamie Papish. I pretty much post everything there, and gigs that I'm on. I'm playing later today with Yuval Ron at the Descanso Gardens. We have a 6 o'clock set and a 7 o'clock set. We're doing flamenco.
Oh, nice.
You're combining flamenco and Middle Eastern. We've got
that's a beautiful setting. The Descanso Gardens, like a botanical landscape garden area, right? With a little, what do they have? An amphitheater or something, or what do they have over
I've
there?
never been there, but I know that there's a couple of bands playing. I know Paul Livingstone is doing a set with his Indian jazz band, and I don't know who else. But you can look up the schedule. It's also happening tomorrow and then next week. Yeah. And then I'm also playing in Topanga at a place called the Corazon in Topanga Canyon on the 31st. That'll be a full, also the flamenco show. The dancer is astounding. He is astounding. And also the flamenco guitarist is incredible. Yeah.
I'm sure. Who's the dancer and guitar player? I might know him.
The dancer is Manuel Gutierrez. And the guitarist is Andres. I'm drawing a blank on his last name.
Okay, I don't think I know. Anyway, but that's exciting, you guys. If you haven't checked out the flamenco stuff, I mean, Cajon, the dancing, it's all incredible, and the guitar playing. Somebody asked Jamie about the drum behind you. I believe those are dunduns, but you wanted to show real quick because somebody was asking.
Yeah, so this is a kinkini, I guess. It's
kinkini, yeah.
Kinkini, yeah, which is the smaller of the dunes. I'm not much of an African percussionist. I love it, but somebody basically laid me onto a full set with a djembe for a very, very price that I couldn't turn down. So, as you can see, I've got the big monster behind me this way.
Yeah, that's a big one.
That's pretty big. That's about 75 pounds of drum right there. Easily. Now maybe a little bit less, but it's a bulky thing. That's the deep one.
Any other questions for Jamie before, as we still have some time, but we want to start wrapping up. But
I can demonstrate another drum as well, which is a drum that I play quite often.
Oh, sure. Yeah. And is that the Rick you mentioned?
Yeah.
Nice.
So this is the Arabic tambourine called the Rick, R-I-Q-Q, or as the Arabs say it, they get this stuff in the back. I can't really do it too well. So this is, again, a frame drum with cymbals.
Awesome.
Thank you. And I play that
Yeah.
quite a bit on a lot of the tracks that I have done over the years. You know, it works really nice in the studio as well. It kind of gives that kind of shaker feel. You know, it just keeps things rolling. You know, and it gives that shimmer. It's also, you know, what we talked about, having that high pitched you know, sound amongst other lower pitched sounds.
Right. And to me, the rick is like, you know, there's certain instruments that are just like happy instruments. To me, that's one of them.
Yeah.
You know, it just has a buoyancy about it, right? Like and I think it just gets people, you know,
Yeah.
takes care of that sort of feeling part of it. Similar to the pandeiro, the Brazilian, you know, pandeiro. I mean, in that it's a small frame drum that played somewhat with the fingers, and then it's got some intricacies there and just really accentuates the music a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Rick, R-I-Q-Q or R-I-Q, you'll see it spelled. I'm glad you played that because I own a Rick, you know, and I've done basics, but we should do more on the channel, maybe get some more Arab, Middle Eastern style drumming from people like you.
Be my pleasure.
Yeah, that's a treat to hear. Really fun.
Yeah.
Where, if somebody wanted to purchase one, where would you get it? I know, like for me, down here, Lark in the Morning would be one place I would look. Rhythm Fusion used to be the place, but they're closed now. So where would you go now?
First of all, this is actually Rhythm Fusion, Rick. He imported it, and I put a new skin on it, but I still have the Rhythm Fusion label in there.
Oh,
that's Rhythm.
Nice.
Fusion. Where would you get it? There are, I would say, I haven't bought a Rick for a while, but there's online stores. I was just thinking of one. I blanked on it. Rhythm Planet or Darbuka Planet is one. There's other resources. If you want to email me, I could send them to you. I haven't really been buying that, but there's other stores that have ethnic instruments that I've bought some ethnic instruments from, and that, you know, I would recommend those stores as well. I'd probably recommend a plastic, synthetic headed Rick, just because of the issues with, you know, it going out of tune and, you know, like that. But there's a lot of beautiful Ricks out there that, you know, you have to, you know, to get a good one, obviously you have to spend some money. If you want to, you know, spend $50, you're going to get nothing much. But if you spend a few hundred, you can get a really beautiful instrument. And it's, you know, it's a world of itself right there, to study the Rick. There's a lot of drummers in the Middle East that pretty much just play the Rick. That's their job. And that instrument used to lead Arabic ensembles in the, you know, 50s and 60s. Like there's a Arabic singer named Kulthum. They call her the voice of Egypt. She passed away in 75, but, you know, that's kind of the essence of Arabic music as far as I'm concerned. And she used to have smaller ensembles that are basically just led by that as a drummer, because you could have, I mean, the drummer would lead just with that instrument, and you could have, you know, you could play the cymbals and you can play the drum head at the same time.
When I was in Lebanon, I was in Beirut, and there was a few Rick makers in Lebanon, you know, and these are the ones that they're like $500, and they're all handmade, right, with lacquer and inlay and beautiful. But I mean, that's, you know, they at the time they didn't have the size I wanted. I wanted the slightly smaller one. I think it was the 5 jingle. Mm-hmm. Maybe we could talk about sizes, because there are some bigger ones, but there's like, you know, the size does it does factor in if you're going to get one Rick, you know, that you want to play for a long time. What do you think that size is that you have?
Hey, this size. I mean, the wall, you know, the frame may be a little bit thick, because the technique, there's 2 different techniques on it. You can see the way I have my finger and hand? You have it that way on both. And then you play the doom. I play it with my ring finger, with my leading hand. You can play with both hands. But then when you do the tech, you hit the edge and you mute with these fingers. So that technique takes a little bit of time, because if you don't mute, when you mute, so when you mute, the pitch goes up and sounds a lot better. That's just that they call the classical style of playing. But why I did that is because, it may be difficult to do that with a wider framed rick, but you don't want to get them too narrow. First of all, the cymbals, you don't want it too narrow, because the cymbals won't have a place to breathe. And I'm not going to give a big lesson here, but you mute one of the cymbals when you play the finger. And you play with your right and left hand with the ring fingers. And that's a finger roll.
Nice. That was a nice little mini lesson. Great. I'm sure you're familiar with the Interworld music video, right? That Glenn Velez did years ago. Was it the Fantastic World of Frame Drums? I think it was called.
I've seen it. I think I've seen it a long time ago. Yeah.
Okay. If anybody wants to, that's an excellent video. Not only an introduction to a lot of these instruments like Rick, Bendir, tar. Glenn shows the basic techniques, but then even back, and this is like 30 years ago, or a while ago, maybe even more, but even his virtuoso level, the level of virtuosity was still really high back then. So you'll see some amazing playing on that video, but that's Glenn Velez. I think it's called The Fantastic World of Frame Drums, but it was on video, and I don't even think it came out on DVD after that. So
I'm sure you can find it on YouTube. Those kind of things.
You probably can. You probably can. I think I still have a copy of the video, but I don't own the copyright, so I can't post it. But if you're ever in the neighborhood, I can come by for a showing. Yeah, well, that's great. Well, let's think about wrapping up so we can let Jamie get on with his day, get ready for his gig, and so forth. But Jamie, I just wanted to, and if anybody has any last questions, that's fine. But I just want to say thank you so much for dropping in this World Drum Club, percussion hang. It was great to see you again. Hopefully we'll see you soon. Like we are neighbors, so we can actually meet in person, but I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. I really enjoy it. It was fun. It was a good hang. Thanks for your questions and, for just listening and, indulging me a little bit, I guess.
The music you played it's also much fun to listen to. We forget how enjoyable it is just to listen to music sometimes. So I hope everybody's doing more of that as well.
Yeah. But yeah, if you can, check out, or you could email me at jamie@jamiepapishmusic.com. That's JAMIE, right, Kalani?
Yep, got it.
At jamiepapishmusic.com. And, I could shoot you off the playlist that I put together. Also, I guess I'm on Spotify as Jamie Papish. So,
okay, good. And I'll probably be posting the recording of this on just for patrons, on the Patreon site on the World Drum Club side. But if you send me those links, I'll add them to that post as well.
Okay.
But everybody can definitely, you guys look up Jamie's stuff, get in touch with him if you want. I mean, I don't know. Are you teaching like online lessons at all? Can they?
I do. Yeah. I'll teach online. I'll teach in person for sure.
Okay, great. Yeah, and then check out The Chance, the band, when you guys start releasing your material.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting too.
Well, we have one and a cool video that's already there. It's on that website, and then a new song is being released. I mean, it's already uploaded. It's just going to take a little while to get it into Spotify and like that. And then we're recording a third, and we'll have about 8 before I die, I think.
Well, don't be in a rush to record them then. You should take your time.
Because I can't compose anything new until those 8 are out. So it takes up a lot of energy.
Yeah, for sure. It's like, creating and then getting everything the way you want it, recording and all that.
Yeah.
Well, all right, everyone. Unless there's any other last call for questions. Go ahead, Rick. Or are you just waving goodbye? Okay. We're waving goodbye. Well, thank you again, Jamie. I appreciate it. Thanks everybody for dropping in. And we'll see you in the next hang. All right. Stay well, stay happy, keep making great music.
Thanks, Kalani. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody.